Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I hope you are having a fantastic weekend. I am going to be sharing a round of candle reviews throughout the day today. My goal is to have at least 3 candle reviews ready to go, so we'll see if I can get it done. But we are kicking the day off here with Yankee Candle Apple Pumpkin. I recently picked this up after stopping by a Yankee Candle store, which honestly is a pretty long jaunt from my house. All of the Yankee candles that used to be closer to where I currently live have shut down. It's definitely a bummer. I miss going into the Yankee Candle stores and being able to smell everything in person. So I recently stopped by the one mall in our area that still has a Yankee Candle store and decided to do a little nostalgic Yankee Candle shopping. So of course I had to get Apple Pumpkin. My overall fragrance vibe that I'm looking to enjoy this fall is gonna lean a little bit more nostalgic. So really digging into fragrances that kind of remind me of the 90s and early 2000s. I am someone who is in the latter part of my 40s here. I'm going to be 47 here soon. So that particular time frame is nostalgic to me personally. I just remember spending a lot of time in Yankee Candle, especially in the later 90s and early 2000s, especially during the fall and the holidays. They just had so many amazing scents, and those fragrances now remind me of being a young adult and, you know, just kind of starting my own life. And there's a lot of fond memories associated with that. And as we all know, fragrance really is a powerful trigger for memories. And this particular scent here, this Apple Pumpkin, I used to love this one especially because it kind of reminded me of being at home with my mom. I've shared before that my mom definitely utilized home fragrance when I was younger. It wasn't really always in the candle format. She did a lot of potpourri and simmer pots. We definitely did have candles in the house as well, but you know, my parents weren't super well off, and so, you know, like purchasing slightly more expensive candles wasn't always in the budget. But my mom really did a great job of scenting our house in a way that made it feel so warm and cozy. And for whatever reason, this Apple Pumpkin smells a lot like the potpourri that she used to put in these different simmer pots that she would do. I remember my mom actually having this like little crock pot situation. Tell me if you remember these. I'm kind of tempted to go to like a Goodwill or Salvation Army or something to see if I can find one of these somewhere, but they were these little tiny crock pots that were specifically for like simmer pot use. So putting your potpourri in there, putting a little bit of, you know, water in there as well, and then you would turn on your little crock pot and it would crank out the amazing fragrance from either the spices that you put in there, you know, the fruit that you may have sliced up, or whether you were using some kind of store-bought potpourri. So anyway, yeah, this particular fragrance here just really takes me back and makes me want to find all of the old school not only fragrances, but also apparently accessories. So if you have an in on where I could find that nostalgic, I guess it could really be a true candle crock, right? I've got my crock pot in the kitchen. I should probably have a candle crock for simmer pots like this. And I do have candle crocks now. Obviously, I talk about them quite a bit, but the candle crocks that I have are not the little crocks that I'm talking about from the like I think they were from maybe the 90s. Could have been as early as the 80s. I don't remember when my mom bought it, but I do remember this particular piece, and I kind of want one. Anyway, you guys, let's dig into Apple Pumpkin, which I am just absolutely loving. So let's get into it. As always, I'm gonna go ahead and read through the scent story first, and then we'll dig into the top, middle, and base notes. I'll tell you what I smell in this fragrance, then we'll dig into the strength and the throw, and then lastly address the overall burn performance. This is their new plant-based formulation here. So far I feel like I've had a pretty good experience with this new formulation. So this appears to be like a vegetable blend of some kind, but they do still have some paraffin in here. So be aware of that. If you guys have watched my content for any amount of time, you know I don't like paraffin. I don't mind if there's a little bit blended in. I don't like 100% paraffin formulations. That's kind of a hard pass for me. I can really smell that paraffin wax, like the undertone of the paraffin wax in paraffin candles. And I also personally tend to think that they burn a lot more dirty. They create a lot more soot, things like that. But there just seems to be a little bit of paraffin in here. Honestly, this burns mostly, I would say, like a soy wax blend. So anyway, for what it's worth, this is the new formulation, which is why I am actually reviewing this fragrance. I don't know if I ever reviewed this particular scent in the past. I might have, but yeah, I'm re-reviewing it if I have already reviewed the fragrance, only because of the new formulation. So anyway, and this is obviously the 2-wick tumbler here. This is my preferred format, but if you prefer the old school, like classic Yankee Candle jars, they do still have those available, but now with the new plant-based formulation. So, all right, let's dig into the scent story. Scents of fresh apples and baked pumpkins bring autumn to the forefront, with notes of warm spices adding a sense of coziness. This fragrance will transport you back to the apple orchard and pumpkin patch, ready to pick your own. The top notes are apple, yellow fruits, orange, fresh greens, and butter. The mid notes are baked pumpkin, red fruit, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and fresh ginger. And at the base, we have vanilla, caramelized sugar, baked pie crust, cream, and musk. All right, so what do I smell in this amazing nostalgic fragrance? First of all, it is definitely, to my nose, an apple forward fragrance. I actually get a mix of a baked apple note and a fresh, like juicy, crisp apple note. It's like they managed to get both into the fragrance. The apple is definitely one of the like sweeter apples. So I guess you could go with maybe like a Macintosh or a Fuji, a Gala apple, something like that. Just think really fresh and juicy, but then also baked at the same time. So you get that kind of caramelized, like gooey apple note combined with the fresh. So I like that aspect of this one. I will say, however, when looking at the top notes specifically, which is where the apple is referenced, I'm not quite sure what they're talking about with yellow fruits here. And I'm gonna say this a couple more times when it comes to these fragrance notes. I don't know where they're getting these from, because my nose is not picking any of this up. So your nose may, but for me, I really didn't get any fresh greens out of here at all. And I certainly don't think this smells buttery. I do smell the pie crust. I guess you could say maybe buttery pie crust, but usually when I am saying like really rich buttery pie crust, like there's also like an additional butter outside of just the butter that you would smell in a normal pie crust type of fragrance, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's no fresh greens here. There's no butter. I do get a tiny hint of like a little bit of a fresh squeezed orange note. Yellow fruits no, I don't know what those yellow fruits would be, but I don't smell really any other fruit other than pumpkin, which I believe is a vegetable, right? Is pumpkin a vegetable or fruit? I don't actually know the answer to that. I'll put that in an annotation. Anyway, let's dig into now the middle notes, because this is where you get the pumpkin part of this apple pumpkin. I think this smells like a really delicious, like pumpkin pie crust filling to my nose. I really like that part of this fragrance. The pumpkin is generic, and I'm not saying, I'm not using that word generic in a bad way here. It just smells familiar. Maybe familiar is a better word. It smells like the Libby's pumpkin pie mix to my nose. Red fruit, I mean, outside of the maybe red apples, I don't know what other red fruit, like I don't smell currants in here or anything like that. I don't smell raspberry. So no, I don't smell any red fruits. Cinnamon, yes, it is a really nice gourmand Ceylon cinnamon. It's not red hot spicy. There is a nice dose of clove. It's not overwhelming. It's not, it doesn't take over the spices. There is nutmeg, loving the nutmeg in here. I would say the cinnamon, the clove, the nutmeg, and even the ginger, which is kind of spicy to my nose. Those are all four in here, I would say, in equal parts. There isn't one of those like spicier notes that is more prevalent than the other. The ginger adds a nice little fresh kick. I don't always like ginger, and honestly, if it was missing from here, I don't think I'd be super bummed about it, but I do think it is part of the reason that this smells so special. And I think maybe the ginger is also what sets the Yankee Candle Apple Pumpkin apart from the Bath and Body Works Pumpkin Apple, if that makes sense. All right, the base notes, vanilla. I wouldn't really say that I get a lot of vanilla out of this one. Caramelized sugar, yes. There is a specific caramelized sugar note in here. It's not straight up caramel. It's caramelized sugar. The baked pie crust, I already mentioned that. Yes, that is present. Cream, not so much, and musk, no. The musk here must just be playing a supporting role, but I don't consider this a creamy fragrance. This is very fruity to my nose, I guess you could say, because of the apple. It has the perfect amount of spice. And this to me is, I think, the very definition of a very classic, almost very typical, like 1990s fall fragrance. I don't know why it screams 1990s to me. I think it's just mostly because it smells very similar to the home fragrance that my mom was utilizing around our home as I was growing up. So it's just, it's something that triggers a fond memory for me, and I really like that. I love that this is a memory trigger. It definitely reminds me, and this is gonna be a little bit of a bummer, but it definitely reminds me of happier times in our family. My family looks a little different now, and that's, you know, that's a bummer. A lot of things have changed over the years, obviously. But it does remind me of, you know, coming home from school and feeling safe at home and having our house just feel warm and cozy and like a safe, warm, inviting place for me to be. So I love having this in my house here because it gives me that same feeling as an adult. And yeah, I hope that it creates that same experience for my daughter as well. So anyway, the fragrance overall I think is fantastic. It's perfectly executed. It's exactly what I want and honestly what I need it to be. The strength and the throw. Okay, because this is a new formulation, you know, I'm still kind of getting used to it, but I think the strength of this is a good solid 7. Do I wish it was a little bit more? I kind of do, but also this is about the same size as a Kringle 2-wick, and for me, I've always said as long as I get a strength and throw of at least a 6 or a 7, then I'm actually pretty okay with that. So yeah, I think this is an adequate, solid, like medium 7 in terms of strength. I would also give it a 7 in terms of throw. I mean, it certainly fills the room where I'm burning it. It absolutely spills outside of the area that I'm burning it. And it's strong enough for me to have to be mindful about whatever else I'm pairing alongside with this. Luckily, it's one of those scents where it really goes well with a lot of different fall home fragrance scents. So strength and throw on this guy here, good. I'm very pleased with the strength and throw of 7. So no concerns there. And then let's address the burn quality. So far, so good. Honestly, my only real complaint about this one is the label. I like the picture. I like the apples. I like the pumpkins. It's kind of a classic but simple picture, but that ugly white box just ruins it. It just ruins the label. I don't know why they did that. I hope that their graphic designer maybe rethinks the decision here in terms of the label, but whatever. Let's go ahead and just turn this to the side. Now, this has been lit for exactly 1 hour at this point. So I don't even have a full wax pool yet. I anticipate this wax pool to be just about over an inch by the time that I reach the 4-hour mark. I've been burning this for just about 4 or 5 hours at a time. So I have been burning it longer than my Homeworks candles, longer than my Bath & Body Works candles, because they seem to be behaving. As long as they're behaving, I'll let them go a little bit longer. Normally I have a hard and fast rule that in order to just avoid any problems with most candle companies is to follow the directions on the bottom of the candles, and most companies will tell you somewhere between 3 and 4 hours. So obviously with much larger formats, you'll need to give more time, but that's not an issue here with Yankee, so not something we really need to talk about. But yeah, good clean burn. I mean, there is no discoloration on the side of this jar. Sorry, it's a little hot. It doesn't burn crazy hot, but you can see like that. There's no discoloration or soot on my finger at all. Really nice clean burn on this. So even though there is still a little bit of paraffin in the formulation here, I'm still getting a clean burn. So yeah, anyway, it's fine. That amount of paraffin apparently is gonna be okay. I really like the look of this wax more. It honestly looks kind of like molten lava. Looks a little more brown on camera, but in real life, the wax is this beautiful kind of deep, rusty red. It is gorgeous. And yeah, no issues with these wicks. I just trim them ever so slightly before each burn. Don't be too aggressive with your trimming. I think maybe I was a little too aggressive to begin with my first few burns, but I think I've figured it out at this point. So yeah, the wicks, they're doing fine. Those are nice tall flames that are dancing around there, and it's been a beautiful burn experience. I'm gonna burn this puppy the whole way through. Usually I just do apple scents end of August through September, but this is one of those where I might pick up another one when I'm done with this year, because I also used to like this one around Christmas as well. I think it'll pair well with a lot of Christmas scents this year. So yeah, I might grab another one. So for what it's worth, I love this. I'm so glad that I decided to pick it up, and I'm really honestly happy to be enjoying Yankee Candle again. I've missed them. This is a company that for me was definitely a big part of my life as I was growing up, and it's really fun to be able to go back to them and pick something up, take it home, burn it, and just know that it's just a much better burn experience now. So I'm really pleased. I would love to know what you guys think so far about the new formulation. Also, what do you think about this fragrance? Did you grow up with this one? Did you grow up with this type of fragrance? What is the like nostalgic scent that basically takes you back to your childhood, where you had your like fondest, coziest memories? I would love to know what that is for you. So let me know down below in the comments. I really appreciate you guys being here. Subscribe if you are new. Give this video a big fat thumbs up if you found it helpful. And there are more candle reviews coming on up a little bit later on throughout the day, so stay tuned for those. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.